Hey guys, Toby Morrison here, and with me today is Mr. Sir Ashley Humphreys. And believe it or not guys, Ash actually had chronic fatigue syndrome himself, and it was almost about 5 years ago when Ash came to see me, and actually he was my first chronic fatigue client ever. And obviously I suffered chronic fatigue syndrome at the age of 16, and as I was getting better, my goal was obviously to help other people. And we used to actually play basketball together a few times, and we didn't really know each other that well, but I remember receiving a phone call from Ash one day, worried because you were just diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, isn't that right?
That's it, yeah. This is going back about 3 years ago now. Toby put something on Facebook about the centre he was starting here in Brighton, and I was pretty keen to get on board because I looked around and there wasn't many treatments available, so it was good to have someone there that was doing something about it.
Yeah, now can I just say, when Ash came to see me, before he actually got chronic fatigue, he was one of the fittest blokes I knew. Obviously he's fully recovered now and you can see how fit and healthy he looks now, but when Ash came to see me, guys, he could barely walk. Like, you know, it was hard for him to get out of the car. You were sleeping 16 to 18 hours a day.
Yeah.
You couldn't eat much. You were completely sick. What were some of the worst symptoms you had?
I think not only the fact that I slept in excess, like Toby's just mentioned, but also the fact that when I was awake, I was just exhausted. I had no strength whatsoever. Could hardly walk around the block.
And how was that mentally for you? Because I recall one of our first sessions. You were so gutted about the whole situation. I'm not going to use the word depressed because you weren't depressed. You were just so shattered that you couldn't do what you wanted to do.
Yeah, well, my whole life, I guess, it revolved around sport and exercise, so not to be able to do any of that was just devastating. And not only that, I guess just not being able to live a normal life, not being able to see my friends or go out to dinner or anything like that was just shattering.
And so you were a state runner, awesome football player, and pretty much all-round sporting guru, to then not being able to do anything. And we had to start really low in terms of rebuilding your whole lifestyle, didn't we?
We did. I remember when you brought up the topic of a graded exercise program, I thought, you beauty, I'm going to be able to start to do a little bit of exercise again. And it was literally starting out with, I think we did 2 or 3 push-ups for the first couple of weeks.
And I think you started with maybe a minute walking as well.
Yeah, that was all I was allowed to do. So it really was, sort of taking me back to earth, I guess, starting out in such a way. But
and we had some hard conversations at the start, and I probably remember more than you do because you were so sick back then. Yeah. But for the first 6 sessions, we actually didn't really do much exercise because Ash was so mentally distraught about the whole situation that he was always looking in the future and so angry and worried about not getting back to AFL or running. And he was just so gutted about it. And it wasn't until his mindset shifted that he started focusing on the now, which is what he could control. And it was a massive shift for Ash because I think it was week 5 or 6 where he actually realised what he had to do today, at that time. And he started working on it gradually. And over time, the results were amazing. Within weeks, his health had improved because he started to shift his focus on what he couldn't do to what he could do. And that was really powerful, and it wasn't a mistake that Ash started recovering faster. It was because he actually started working on the stuff that he could control, and eventually it started with something so small like 1 minute walking and working on his diet and his mindset and the whole thing, and eventually it got better. And now Ash works here at the CFS Health Centre, coaching people with chronic fatigue syndrome, and not just working with people in Melbourne, Australia, but also around the world by doing Skype sessions. I know that you're probably inspired by my story, but Ash's story is just as inspirational as mine, and it's pretty powerful to have 2 people who have gone through chronic fatigue syndrome, not just for a short time, but for a long time, know what it's like to have CFS and how hard it is, but also on the other side of things, actually overcoming it. And obviously we're both specialised in fitness and health and nutrition, and Ash has actually gone and studied exercise science, and you've learned a hell of a lot about the body and health.
Yeah, absolutely. I think to put my degree to use here at the centre has been a real blessing, to help other people that have or are going through what I went through. So yeah, it's been really enjoyable, and it's great to see people worked through what I worked through and also what Toby's worked through as well.
Now, I really love Ash, but he's a lot better looking than me, and I don't really like that part. So be kind to me. All right, I know now Ash is number 1 and I'm number 2, and I'll deal with that. That's okay. But guys, like I said, take inspiration from my story, but also this guy, he's an inspiration. He'll be on Facebook. You can email him and go through to our website, www.cfshealthcentre.com.au. There's more inspirational stories out there. We've helped hundreds and hundreds of people recover from CFS, and we're sitting at the centre right now. It's a Friday afternoon, and we've just finished training people with CFS all day. So onwards and upwards, and keep focusing on the positives, because one day, like me and Ash, you can get there as well. I hope that helps, and we'll speak soon.